Modern warfare is now dominated by technology, and nothing illustrates this more clearly than the combat helicopter. Today's helicopters are lethal, agile, and equipped to survive on the modern battlefield. Incorporate new digital technology, and you have the ultimate weapon, one that promises to revolutionize the way battles are fought. After the Second World War, commanders gained access to a new tool on the battlefield, the helicopter. With it, troops and their equipment could be moved rapidly across combat zones. Because helicopters do not require large airfields, they can take off and land in spaces no bigger than a tennis court and operate over virtually any type of terrain. Natural obstacles such as rivers, jungles, or deserts pose no challenge to these versatile machines. The Americans first employed helicopters extensively in the Korean War to evacuate wounded troops to field hospitals, helicopters made famous by the television series MASH. Thanks to shorter travel times, countless lives were saved that might otherwise have been lost. But it was during the Vietnam War that the helicopter truly cemented its place in military history. Instead of marching into combat, troops and their equipment, along with ammunition, were delivered by helicopter. Originally used only to transport soldiers, these helicopters were soon converted into deadly attack craft, capable of protecting both ground forces and other helicopters, and of unleashing heavy firepower on enemy positions. From that moment on, helicopters transformed battlefield strategy forever. Today, the helicopter is entering a new era, the digital battlefield. Through cutting-edge digital technology, commanders can now pinpoint the exact location of their own troops, aircraft, and weapons, as well as pinpoint the enemy's position at any moment. This data can be shared instantly with forces both on the ground and in the sky through a giant military internet. Many see this digital battlefield as the single most significant development in warfare since the helicopter itself. At the forefront of this revolutionary shift is the deadliest helicopter ever built, the Apache Longbow. The Apache Longbow is the supreme attack helicopter and the first to be fully wired for digital warfare. Equipped with sophisticated radar, it locates and engages multiple targets using a 30mm cannon, rockets, and precision-guided Hellfire missiles. It has earned its reputation as both the #1 killing machine and the ultimate pilot's aircraft, something akin to flying a Ferrari. From the beginning, the Apache was conceived as a heavyweight attack platform for the U.S. Army. Not only does it provide formidable attack capabilities, but it also delivers close air support and can escort other aircraft. It is designed for day or night combat and has seen action in Panama, Somalia, Bosnia, and both Gulf Wars. Befitting its fierce combat record, it also carries a name steeped in military tradition. U.S. Army aircraft are often named for Native American tribes, and Apache recalls the fierce warriors who once fought on the North American continent. One aspect that makes the Apache Longbow so effective is its integration of different detection and information processing technologies into a single platform. On its nose are sensors that identify and track targets day or night, using high-resolution TV, infrared, and laser systems. Data from these sensors is fed into the pilot's eyepiece, which is linked to the helicopter's gun. Wherever the pilot looks, the gun follows. Atop the Apache sits the radar pod, known as the Longbow. Using a tactic called unmasking, the Apache hovers behind cover, like a tree line, briefly pops up so its radar can spot the enemy, then drops back out of sight before it can be targeted. Thanks to the Longbow system, in mere seconds the helicopter can detect, classify, and prioritize targets before sending that data to the pilot's displays, as well as loading the information into its RF, radio frequency missiles. The Apache Longbow is also the first helicopter in service upgraded for the digital battlefield. Missions are planned on computers and then transferred directly into the aircraft so that data and navigation information can be loaded instantly and without error. In the past, soldiers typically had to see the enemy to engage them. Now, digitization allows immediate knowledge of both friendly and hostile locations, making it possible to strike in mere seconds with any weapon system available on the battlefield. Because the Longbow is digital, many of its systems can be replicated in simulators, enabling pilots to train on complex, realistic missions without putting aircraft or lives in danger. At Fort Rucker, Alabama, the U.S. Army trains Apache Longbow pilots on 4 high-tech simulators that replicate the helicopter's exact flight characteristics. It's often described as a huge, very expensive video game that is nonetheless vital for building combat readiness. New pilots learn to start the aircraft, become familiar with its cockpit, and coordinate with their wingmen in shared virtual exercises. Yet no simulator can fully replicate the real risks pilots face during genuine missions. On the battlefield, Apaches inevitably draw hostile fire, so the aircraft is engineered to survive extreme damage. It's built with a narrow profile, making it a difficult target when approached from the front, and heavy armor around the cockpit, including side panels and a blast shield between the pilot and co-pilot. Critical systems are backed up in case one set is disabled. The rotor blades and fuel tanks are designed to withstand damage, and the gearbox can function for half an hour without oil if necessary. Because of its role, engaging hostile forces head-on, Apache Longbow pilots need a particular kind of mindset, aggressive, mission-focused, and willing to put themselves in harm's way to protect ground troops and fellow aircraft. They must want to get into the fight and remain there until the job is done. Many of them consider it the best job in the world, one they would never trade for anything. Despite differences in mission profiles and capabilities, all pilots share a common passion for flight. For some, it is a dream that started in childhood. Chief Warrant Officer Nolan Beck, who has flown for almost 2 decades, is a test pilot on the Blackhawk, another of America's most successful military helicopters. Beck loves the Blackhawk for its versatility. One day it might be transporting troops across enemy lines. The next it could be moving cargo or external loads. Its uses change constantly, making it ideal for a broad range of operations. Indeed, the Blackhawk flies half of the U.S. Army's total flying hours. Over 1,500 are in active service, with the fleet still expanding. The Blackhawk can even be fully armed in various configurations. It has participated in every major conflict involving the United States since the 1980s. Most commonly, it serves as a utility helicopter for transporting personnel and equipment, running medevac missions, conducting search and rescue operations, or coordinating command and control. Like other Army aircraft, it also carries a Native American name, Blackhawk, after a chief of the Sauk tribe who lived in the Rock Island, Illinois area and became an icon for his courage and convictions in the early 19th century. Pilots praise the Blackhawk's power and agile handling. Most combat helicopters typically fly low to avoid detection, and the Blackhawk excels in treetop-level flying. While low-altitude maneuvers are thrilling, they also require vigilance, since even small objects like tree branches can pose hazards. Many pilots say flying low in a helicopter is more exciting than soaring in a high-performance jet. However, for all its proven successes, the Blackhawk is not fully equipped for the new digital age. The Army seeks to surpass adversaries in many ways: lethality, survivability, sustainability, transportability, and digital connectivity is central to that goal. Information is crucial on the modern battlefield. Digitization lets commanders and pilots maintain situational awareness so they know where allies and foes are at all times, preventing friendly fire incidents and optimizing their response to threats. Colonel Lake compares this advantage to playing chess when you can see all your opponent's pieces, but they cannot see yours. That knowledge is critical. While the Blackhawk continues to serve effectively, integrating it into a digital battlefield requires a major upgrade. By remanufacturing older UH-60A models at around half the cost of a new helicopter, the Army can extend each craft's service life by 20 years, convert analog steam gauges to digital glass displays, and remove obsolete avionics. More powerful engines and upgraded rotor blades further enhance maneuverability, ensuring the Blackhawk remains a cornerstone of the Army's helicopter fleet for decades to come. An interim step is already in place for some Blackhawks, especially the medevac variant, designated HH-60L. This model offers an advanced medical interior, a forward-looking infrared camera, FLIR, on the nose, an improved flight management system, and multifunction liquid crystal displays, LCDs, in the cockpit. These measure progress toward fully digitizing the Blackhawk, ensuring it remains viable for future conflicts. By continually extending the life of successful helicopter designs, the U.S. Army maintains an edge without always resorting to entirely new platforms. The Chinook, sometimes called the big brother of the Blackhawk, is another prime example. Weighing around 32,000 pounds and stretching nearly 50 feet in length, the twin-rotor Chinook has served since the Vietnam War in the early 1970s. Yet it remains so adaptable that it, too, has entered the digital battlefield. With tandem rotors and a rear-loading ramp, the Chinook can carry heavy equipment, up to 26,000 pounds, equivalent to a small tank. It can also sling cargo beneath its fuselage. Because its two rotors rotate in opposite directions, there is no need for a tail rotor to prevent the fuselage from spinning. As a result, virtually all engine power is dedicated to lift. The Chinook excels at high-altitude missions, where thin air makes rotor blades less efficient. In Afghanistan, it was one of the few helicopters that could fly at altitudes above 16,000 feet while still carrying meaningful payloads. It can even land on water if required, and some variants have been retrofitted with additional fuel tanks for long-range operations, along with aerial refueling capabilities and classified weapons systems for special operations units. Flying a massive helicopter like the Chinook demands a four-person crew, 2 pilots, a flight engineer, and a crew chief. Crew coordination is paramount for keeping large loads balanced and ensuring safe landings. Despite its size, many pilots adore the sense of excitement and challenge that comes with treetop-level flying or nighttime operations under poor visibility. Today's upgraded Chinook models feature digital systems, including electronic displays and powerful computers. Designers hope to keep it in service for at least 20 more years. One challenge, however, is training experienced pilots who learned on older analog platforms. Younger aviators, raised with computer technology and video games, often adapt more quickly. To some, the new Chinook cockpit feels second nature, while older pilots must unlearn habits from the past. No matter how advanced a machine may be, the US will inevitably fight alongside allies who may not have the same level of digital technology. Still, Army planners believe combined operations will remain effective, even if digital capabilities give American forces a significant advantage. Across the Atlantic, the British Royal Navy is also working to digitize its helicopter forces. During the 2003 Gulf War, the United Kingdom was America's most closely aligned ally, deploying an array of combat helicopters that rival the best in the world. Yet many still need upgrades to fit seamlessly into the digital battlefield. One formidable British aircraft now awaiting a modernization push is the Mark 8 Lynx. Known as the world's fastest production helicopter, capable of roughly 400 kilometers per hour, it is designed for anti-surface and anti-submarine warfare. Its distinctive rotor head design provides excellent airflow and performance, making it exceptionally nimble. Pilots often compare flying a Lynx to driving a sports car, agile, responsive and thrilling, though less forgiving than some slower aircraft. Keeping flight crews combat-ready requires constant training. Today, 702 Naval Air Squadron prepares for a live-fire exercise of their Sea Skua missiles, a medium-range, semi-active weapon. Firing live ordnance is a special event, so crews pay careful attention during the briefing. The missiles target barges in Cardigan Bay, each equipped with radar reflectors. Sea Skua warheads are designed to penetrate a ship's hull before detonating, causing internal damage and fires. Usually, the Lynx crew consists of 2, a pilot and an observer. While the pilot flies, the observer detects and classifies potential targets, using the helicopter's radar to guide the missile. The Lynx can also carry torpedoes and depth charges for anti-submarine missions, and it has acquired a new half-inch caliber machine gun to combat fast-moving boats. Yet to stay relevant on future battlefields, the Mark 8 Lynx will require a comprehensive digital upgrade, one that integrates data sharing with the UK's allies through compatible systems. By contrast, another Royal Navy icon, the aging Sea King, has already been updated for modern digital warfare. The new Mark 7 Sea King, used primarily for airborne surveillance and control, now contains advanced electronics beneath its familiar exterior. A large radar pod mounted on the side sweeps the surrounding skies, seas and land in 3 modes at once, feeding instantaneous intelligence to both the crew and, via high-speed Link 16 data links, any ship or command center in the area. In fact, this single helicopter can handle surveillance and battle management tasks typically performed by large fixed-wing aircraft with far bigger crews. Though the Mark 7 Sea King systems were new to its squadron, it proved its worth in 2003's Gulf War, helping to manage complex operations and sharing real-time data with US and British ground forces. There is still room for improvement, such as better self-defense aids, but the Mark 7's performance thus far has been spectacular. Meanwhile, the Royal Navy's newest helicopter, the Merlin, fully represents the cutting edge of technology. It is the first wholly new helicopter the Royal Navy has developed in 25 years, carrying 3 engines for maximum power and redundancy. The Merlin typically performs anti-submarine and anti-surface warfare, employing multiple weapons, including torpedoes, depth charges and machine guns. A powerful pulse compression radar can detect and automatically track ships up to 160 miles away. Color-coded displays for friend and foe appear on 6 large LCD screens, and the information is shared with Allied ships in real time through secure data links. Because the Merlin is digital at its core, it supports comprehensive simulated training. At a dedicated Merlin training center, 4 linked simulators let crews rehearse missions in a safe, controlled environment, preparing them for real-world deployment. All these technological advancements and the promise of viewing battles on digital screens can make modern warfare sound like one vast video game. And indeed, in some training programs, it nearly is. At Fort Rucker, Alabama, a facility called the Cav Sim offers a glimpse into how future battles may be fought. Here, officers and pilots practice coordinating troops and helicopters in real time, with each simulated aircraft flown from a separate cubicle. Master controllers, hidden in a stealth room, can see the entire battlefield on computer screens, controlling both friendly and enemy forces as though it were a real-life strategy game. Despite the video game label, many of these simulations provide a realistic preview of the upcoming digital battlefield. In West Palm Beach, Florida, that future is taking shape today. A research facility houses the world's first helicopter designed entirely in digital form, the Comanche. Scheduled to enter service in the coming years, every element of the Comanche, from its detection equipment to flight controls, was engineered for a networked battlefield. The Comanche represents the pinnacle of all that has come before. Colonel Bob Birmingham, head of the project, points to the Comanche's sleek form, built to minimize detection and survive intense combat. Its nose houses next-generation sensors like electro-optical targeting systems, radar warning receivers, and lasers. Its cockpit is identical front and back, reducing pilot training time and enhancing redundancy. Beneath the streamlined exterior, internal bays hold missiles and fuel, while special exhaust systems channel and cool hot gases through the helicopter's tail to reduce thermal signatures and counter heat-seeking missiles. Its 5-blade bearingless main rotor and robust fantail rotor provide enormous power and agility. Because it uses an advanced fly-by-wire system, computers prevent the pilot from pushing beyond the helicopter's flight envelope. Test pilot Bill Fell explains how the Comanche can roll rapidly from side to side without damage, maneuvers that would break most other helicopters. He notes it can fly backward at over 80 knots or sideways at 70 knots, and if the pilot chooses, can do so hands-free with the flight computers in control. Stealth, or low observability, is a critical part of the Comanche's design. Its slim silhouette, retractable landing gear, internal weapon bays and cooled exhaust all help it slip past radar, infrared sensors, and acoustic detection. Yet perhaps the greatest breakthrough is its ability to gather and process information digitally. Its sensors constantly update friendly forces on the position of enemy units, acting as the commander's eyes and ears in the sky. Far more than just an advanced helicopter, the Comanche is a generational leap in technology. Some say it jumps 2 generations beyond earlier designs. It offers not only superior handling and survivability, but also speed, unparalleled stealth, and an advanced capacity to share battlefield data. For future commanders, information is power, and the Comanche stands poised to deliver that power with unprecedented effectiveness. This fusion of lethal agility and digital intelligence will undoubtedly redefine how battles are fought in the years to come. As new helicopters enter service and proven models adapt to the digital age, modern warfare will continue to evolve, driven forward by the unstoppable momentum of technological progress, epitomized by one of the most versatile and fearsome machines ever created, the combat helicopter.